Hi everyone. Before we get started today, I just want to say Happy New Year and a big thank you to everyone who has welcomed me back as I restarted the channel this year. Those of you who watch every video and leave your great feedback down in the comments, you know who you are and I appreciate you so much. Hopefully I can continue to improve and just make the channel as enjoyable as possible for everyone watching. Now then, last week I went over some of the biggest fashion trends that I'm looking forward to in 2023. A lot of them were seen on the designer runways in summer, which inevitably means that they will filter down into mainstream fashion during 2023. This week I thought it would only be fitting to discuss some of the trends that I saw that I'm not looking forward to. As always, please keep in mind that this is just my opinion at this moment in time. The main reason I'm not excited for the trends in today's video is simply because I can't imagine how they're going to evolve into something I want to wear. However, I keep a very open mind when it comes to fashion, so in a few months I might have completely changed my mind on a lot of these trends. I know that essentially that is a massive cop-out, but I think being too rigid when it comes to style is a mistake. So with all that being said, let's get into it. So the first big trend is taken straight out of Ye's book, which means it's definitely gonna fail. And that is shirtless suits. I've seen quite a few people trying this style already and I just can't get on board with it at the moment. First and foremost, it just looks incomplete to me, like they've actually forgotten to put on a shirt or t-shirt underneath. It also just looks a bit corny to me, like something an anime villain would wear, or Dennis Reynolds when he's wearing the duster. By the way, wouldn't he make the perfect anime villain? But mostly my biggest gripe with this trend is that it just looks impractical. Like, I can't imagine an actual situation where I'd wear it unironically. I am of the mind that an outfit with a suit will always look better with something underneath, and nothing I've seen so far has changed my mind. Next up, a recurring theme that could see its way back into mainstream fashion, and that's exposed underwear. And it seems to be the same kind of exposed underwear that I remember seeing in the 90s and 2000s. You know the one, where it would be like loose-fitting, checkered boxers that are all bunched up and hanging over your jeans. Although I'm totally on board with the baggy trouser trend, I just can't see exposed underwear making a strong comeback. I'm not a prude or anything, like I don't mind if you can see a little bit of a Calvin Klein boxer poking out if you're wearing a cropped top or something. But having your underwear as a main part of your outfit is just a little bit trashy in my opinion, and it's definitely a trend that I'm gonna skip. So last week I talked about genderless fashion being something I'm really looking forward to in 2023. So you might think I'm contradicting myself when I talk about this next trend, which is skirts and dresses for men. This is one of the few pieces in genderless fashion that I really struggle with, and I think it's because I just haven't done it in a way that I think looks good yet. At the moment, even though I'm experimenting with different fits, I like to have a traditionally masculine vibe to the whole outfit. And to me, skirts and dresses just look way too feminine and don't suit my body type. And a lot of that is definitely down to social conditioning telling me that skirts and dresses are made for women only. I have no doubt in my mind that this trend will become mainstream in the near future, but I don't think 2023 is the year. But I will still continue to shop in the women's section because there's still a lot of things for me there, and I would encourage you all to do the same. Another trend that I feel like we saw fairly recently, but it's coming back in 2023, and that's patchwork. I didn't particularly like patchwork when it first came around, and so I'm not that excited to see it come back this year, to be honest. I think it's because when someone mentions patchwork, I imagine really badly cut and sewn pieces, mainly using bandana material. I'm all for reusing materials to make fashion more sustainable, but I just couldn't get along with this particular look. I just always think of it as looking cheap and messy, and if that's the type of patchwork we're getting again, then I'm not really into it. However, I have seen patchwork done a bit more tastefully, like this Marine Sarah outfit where she's used patchwork as a pattern rather than having bits of material hanging off. Even this patchwork jacket from Acne is something I could probably get on board with. So if we start to see more patchwork pieces like this, then I'd be up for trying it out. So last week I praised the return of double denim, but how about double trousers or double jackets? That's a trend that has been seen on the runway. Layering is something I'm a huge advocate of. It's really fun to mess around with different textures, lengths and colours to build an outfit. But layering a bomber jacket on top of another bomber jacket, or a suit jacket on top of another suit jacket, just looks odd and also very uncomfortable. Taking the bomber jacket as an example, they're designed to be the top layer piece. They're wide, puffy and boxy, and it would be very difficult to comfortably put another bomber jacket on top unless it was a much bigger size. Here, Mason Mahara has just seemingly plonked another bomber jacket on top, draping it over the shoulders, and the end result just looks weird to me. I just can't see this type of trend becoming mainstream simply because of how unpractical it is. The next thing we saw from a few designers was their take on the school uniform style. This might just be a British thing because uniforms are mandatory in most schools over here, but I cannot imagine putting together a school uniform outfit to wear out casually. I can perhaps see the appeal if you've never had to wear a school uniform in your life, but to me, it just brings back too many stressful memories. I also think that school uniforms will always have this sort of cosplay or dress-up vibe to them, even if you're using designer pieces. There's really not much for me to say about this one, except I'll be totally skipping it. So the next one, I guess, is somewhat related to the school uniform trend, and that's the return of the tie. I mean, the tie never really disappeared, but it's gearing up to be one of the biggest accessories for 2023. I'm very much on the fence about this one. I've got nothing against ties. I think they look perfect in the right setting, which to me is a smart or formal occasion. But to me, wearing them casually just reminds me of being 17 and trying to fool my way into clubs by looking older than I actually was. I have no idea why I thought a tie was going to do this. If anything, it made me look much younger and stand out from a crowd. However, what I will say is that the ties we're seeing on the runway are not just the bog standard ties. There's double ties, oversized ties, and even shrunken ties. This is one of those trends that I'm going to have to see more of and see how it evolves before I make my mind up. But at the moment, I just can't see how you would incorporate a tie into anything but a smart or casual outfit. And since ties have already been worn in those outfits forever, I can't see how this is bringing anything new in 2023. Last week we spoke about purple being one of the big colours of 2023, but that's not the only colour that is touted to be big. The final trend on today's list is going to be an injection of loud, in-your-face colours like neon pink and acid yellow. Just like everything on this list, it's going to come down to personal preference. I've always been of the opinion that using just one standout piece in an outfit is the way to go, but it's looking like in 2023 we're going to be seeing entire outfits using these loud colours. And unfortunately for me, it just doesn't suit my style or taste. I think it looks a bit too much like you're going to a festival. I love festivals, but I don't want to look like I'm going to one all the time. It's sort of the same thing as that school uniform trend. I am open to experimenting with smaller pieces, but I definitely won't be going all in on the neon trend. And so there it is. I've picked out my favourite and worst picks of the 2023 trends. It might be fun to revisit this video in about 6 months' time and see how I'm feeling about them. I'll probably be sat here in a neon pink patchy school outfit. But I just want to say again, Happy New Year. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.